Good morning, student. Welcome to the ninth lecture of Computer Architecture and Organization. In previous lecture, we have discussed about what is instruction straight line sequencing, branching, and conditional codes. Now, in today's lecture, we will study about addressing modes. It means that how operands are given in an instruction. Okay, so let's start with the addressing modes. Addressing modes in a general way means the manner in which operand is given in an instruction. It means that when you write an instruction, let's say we want to work on something, like we want to add something, we want to subtract some numbers, multiply, divide, or whatever the number which you want to do the operation is called as an operand. So operand is the value on which you want to operate. How do you tell the processor that this is my operand? Is what is called addressing mode. That means the manner in which operands are given in an instruction is called as addressing modes. So let's say you may give the operand in an instruction itself saying add 25. Okay, suppose you want to add 25. So this 25 is your operand. You may say add 25, that is the easiest addressing mode, which is called as immediate addressing mode. Okay, or you may put this 25 inside some registers like B register and say add B. Now in both the cases you are adding the number 25, but this time instead of giving an operand in an instruction directly, you are giving it using a register. Okay, so this is called as simple addressing mode. This is called as immediate addressing mode, in which operand is directly given in an instruction, and this is called as simple addressing mode. Okay, then the advanced one, you may give operand using its addressing modes. So what does that mean? You don't have the operand with you. The operand is stored somewhere in the memory. Okay, you don't know its value, but you know its address. So you may give the address in the instruction and telling the processor go to that address. From there you will get the operand. Okay, or from there you can even make it more interesting. You may give that address using the registers and telling the processor first go to that register. From there you will get a number. That number will be an address. Go to that address and get the operand. Now we will see this all theoretical concept with the with examples also. So this is called as this way, that means giving the address inside register is called as indirect addressing mode. Okay, so more than 95% operations in a computer are done by using indirect addressing mode. Are you getting the concept? If operand is directly given in an instruction, this is immediate addressing mode. Now we know the data directly. If operand is given inside register, it means that this is simple addressing mode. Okay, it means that first processor has to go to that register, then read the contents of that register. Okay, now if you know the address, okay, you don't know the data directly, you know the address of that data. Okay, and the one more additional thing is that you don't know address directly. This address is given inside register. So what is the process? First processor we'll have to find out the address of register, then go to that register. This register will contain address of some memory location. Then your processor will go to that memory location and then fetch the data. So this is the way we are doing addressings. Okay, so let's say this is a memory. Now you know that your programs are stored in a memory. Okay, as we have discussed in the previous lecture, in this part of memory programs are stored, and in this part of memory data is stored. Okay, so this is the memory. In this part of memory programs are stored, in this part of memory data is stored. Okay, now it's like your imaging app in a mobile. Okay, now this is your program, and all the images that you click are data. Okay, imaging app in your mobile is program, and all the images that you click on is your data. Okay, again, WhatsApp is a program, and WhatsApp messages are data. Okay, so program and data both stored in a memory. Program and data both are stored in a memory. Next, this is a processor. Okay, the job of the processor is to execute a program, and those programs work on the data. Okay, like the imaging app display an image. To display that particular image, you need the data. Okay, but first you need that imaging app, first you need that program to display images. Okay, so to read the data, you must have a program stored in your memory. Okay, so program is a set of instructions. Every instruction is fetched, decoded, and executed by the processor. Now during execution, processor needs a data. Okay, so processor has two choices to read the data, to get the data. Either take data from memory or take data from registers. Okay, while fetching the data, processor has two choices: either take data from main memory or from the registers. Okay, so there are various registers inside processor. We know that there are number of general purpose registers inside processor. So if you are a programmer and you want to give data to the processor, the first choice is to keep your data inside registers. Why? Because these registers are present inside the processor, so they are easier to work on. Okay, they are easier to work with the, and operations are faster. But again, all data cannot be stored in registers. You understand? There are handful of registers, and there are thousands of values of data. So whatever you can store in a register, you can store, but remaining data is stored in the memory. When processor wants data, it may either take it from memory or from register. Okay, so this is the background that you needed to have. Now let's take an example of 8086 microprocessor. Okay, let's consider this is a memory. Now these are the 8-bit registers. And these are the 16-bit registers. Okay, so these are the ones that we will be using in our program. So this L and H in the register signifies the lower byte and higher byte. That means they all are 8-bit registers. Sometimes you can use them together if you want as 16-bit register. Okay, so X signifies a pair of registers. Now what is 8-bit? Let's say 25H. Okay, now this 25H is an example of 8-bit number. Okay, this is hexadecimal when converted into binary. Okay, but it is 8-bit number. So you know that inside a computer everything is binary. Okay, We don't write binary number because it is complicated to write zeros and ones. So but still we will write this. So this 25H can be written as 00100101. Okay, this complete is a 8-bit number. If we have to write 42, it will be 01000010. If 2000, then 00100000, then 000 and 000. Okay, so this is 2, this is 0, this is 0 and this is 0. So this 2000 is a 16-bit number. This 25 and this 42 is a 8-bit number. Okay, so this is all about the background that you needed to have before learning addressing modes. So now let's start with the addressing mode. So in addressing mode, there are various types of addressing mode like immediate addressing mode, direct addressing mode, indirect addressing modes, then base index addressing mode, like this. Okay, so first we will start with the immediate addressing mode. In immediate addressing mode, data is given in an instruction itself. Okay, data means operands. So whatever the operand you want to operate on, you giving that operand in the instruction. What's the advantage? First advantage is that processor will fetch the instruction, and the moment it fetches the instruction, in the instruction itself it will get the data. Okay, so will the processor will have to hunt for the data? No. Will it have to go some registers to search for the data? No. Some memory locations? No. Data is already given in the instruction itself. So will it take time for getting the data? No. That is, the operation will perform immediately. That's why it is called as immediate addressing mode. Okay, so first addressing mode is immediate addressing mode. Immediate addressing mode means data is directly given in an instruction. Okay, let's say this is your instruction. Okay, now this is memory. In the first part of memory, programs are stored. In the second part of memory, data is stored. Okay, so your instruction is stored here. This is your processor. So as soon as processor fetches instruction, processor will get data directly, that is add 25. Processor don't need to go to register to search for the data. Processor don't need to search memory locations for the data. Data is directly given inside an instruction. That is called as immediate addressing mode. Okay, again let's take an example. Let's say move BL comma 25H. Okay, what does it mean? BL will get the data 25H. Okay, again move BX comma 2000H. As BX is 16-bit register, that's why we are providing 16-bit of data. Okay, it means that BX will get the value 2000H. Okay, so move into BL and move into BX. So what will be the output of this instruction? BL will get value 25 and here BX will get value 2000. Okay, why? Because here this BL is our destination and this 25 is our source. Here again this BX is destination and this 2000 is a source. So in every language, first we write destination, then we write the source. Okay, this is assembly level language programming. Okay. Now another example, let's say add Cl comma 35H. Now what will happen? Cl will get the result. Why? Because Cl is destination. This 35 is source. Now Cl will get the result. It means that Cl, what Cl will get? Cl plus 35, and the result of this addition will stored into the Cl register. Let's say initially your Cl was 25 and your Cl is added with the 35, then what will be the result? 60. This 60 will stored inside again Cl. So initially the contents of Cl was 25 and now the contents of Cl will become 60. Okay. So what is important is not whether you are doing addition, whether you are doing subtraction or AND operation or OR operation. What is important is your data, is your operand. Okay, that means your data or operand has to be there in the instruction itself. Here also your data is present inside instruction. Here also data is present in the instruction. Okay, so what is important? Your data or your operand must be present inside the instruction, and that justifies the definition of immediate addressing mode. Okay, then second addressing mode. Second one is the register addressing mode. Now what is register addressing mode? Instead of giving data in the instruction like we have seen in the previous addressing mode, add comma 25. So instead of giving data in an instruction, data will be given using registers. Okay, let's say move bx comma cx. Now here data is not present in the register. Here both are the registers. Okay, so what will be the result? Bx will get the contents of cx. Okay, another example, move bl comma cl. What will be the result? Bl will get the contents of cl. Okay, so if cl was 25, bl will get 25. Okay, it means that data is not directly present inside the instruction. Data is present inside the registers. Okay, and now we are moving data from one register to another register. Okay, so if cl was 25, bl will get 25. Now your bl will become 25. Okay, now what's the difference? Here in the previous example, here data is given in the instruction and here data is coming from the instruction. Okay, so when to use immediate and register addressing mode? When you initializing the register for the very first time, you used immediate addressing mode. Like you have to initialize register CL. That time you have to use immediate addressing mode like move CL comma 25. Now CL will initialize with the value 25. Okay, and once the data is in register, that means once CL will become 25 or some other manner, you don't have to again initialize the number. Okay, we don't have to again and again initialize this 25. You can pass it on from one register to another. Now here we are initializing the CL with 25. Here we are using immediate addressing mode for initializing the register. Now once the value is in the register, we can directly pass it from one register to another register. Now we don't need to initialize BL again with 25. We can directly pass it on from CL to BL. Okay, so this is about the register addressing mode. Okay, let's say one more example. There is one more program for which I want to initialize BL, CL and DL with 0. Okay, there is a program in which I want to initialize BL, CL and DL with 0. Okay, so first I will initialize BL with 0. How I will initialize BL with 0? Move BL comma 0. That means here I am using immediate addressing mode. Now instead again initializing CL with 0 and DL with 0, I will just take the value in CL and DL from BL. How? Move CL comma BL, move DL comma BL. Okay, that means moving contents from BL to CL and from BL to DL. Here you can also write that move DL comma CL also, because CL is also initialized with 0. So you can pass on value of CL into DL also instead of BL. So what will be the advantage? I don't need to get the data from memory location. Data is already inside the register. So it will move within the processor itself, because registers are present inside the register, and that's why they are perform very faster than accessing data from memory locations. Okay, this is the biggest advantage of using register addressing mode. Okay, so it makes data instructions faster because data is within the processor. Immediate also makes the operation faster, but it increases the size of instruction format because it contains data, and register mode contains only register. So instruction becomes smaller, and registers are the part of the output, so it don't increase size. So add BL comma CL. What will happen? The contents of CL are added with the contents of BL, and output will be stored in BL. Like add BL comma CL. The contents of CL are added with the BL, and the result is stored inside BL also. Okay, so this is about the register addressing mode. Now next addressing mode is direct addressing mode. Okay, now what is direct addressing mode? In immediate addressing mode, data is directly given in an instruction. In register addressing mode, data is given in register. Now in direct addressing mode, address is given in the instruction. Neither data nor register. Address is given in the instruction. So till now we are getting what? Data. In immediate addressing mode also we are getting data directly. In register addressing mode also we are getting data through the registers. Okay, because we had data uh, data with us or inside some registers. But now in direct addressing mode we don't have the data. The data is stored somewhere in the memory. We know it addressed. We are telling the processor go to that address. From there you will get the data. Okay, that means we are directing the processor to some memory location and asking it to get the data from that memory location, and that's why it is called as direct addressing mode. It means that you are giving directly address in the instruction, not data. Okay, let's say move BL comma 2000H. That means BL will get 2000H. Okay, now look at this instruction and also look at this instruction. Okay, here also 2000, here also 2000. So what is the difference? There is no square bracket over there and there is square bracket over here. Okay, so that 2000H was the data and this 2000H is an address. So we are telling the processor go to the location 2000 and from there you will get the data. Okay, this is data, but inside the square bracket it means that this is address given in an instruction. Okay, now in direct addressing mode we have to work on this instruction. Okay, so now let's say this is a processor. This is the memory and these are the instructions stored in the memory. Okay, so in the upper part of memory, programs, that means instructions are stored. In the lower part of memory, data is stored. Okay, so now this is your processor. This is memory. Instruction is stored in the memory. Here data is stored in the memory. Okay, now move BL comma 2000H. So this is the part of your program. Okay, this is the part of your program as it is an instruction. So somewhere there is a location 2000 in the memory. It carries the data, let's say 33. Okay, location is given in an instruction. It means that somewhere in the memory location 2000 is present and at that location data 33 is available. Okay, as we have seen in the previous lecture in instruction sequencing and branching, here I plus 1, I plus 2, in this memory locations your instruction and program is stored, but here num comma 1, num 2, num 3, sum, their data is present. Okay, so this is instruction move BL comma 2000H and somewhere in the memory there is a location 2000, at that location your data 33 is present. Okay, it means that this memory location carries data 33. Now this is your processor. What your processor will do? Fetch the instruction. Your processor will fetch that instruction. What is instruction? Move BL comma 2000H. Okay, so when it gets the instruction says BL should get the contents of location 2000. Okay, BL should get the contents from memory location 2000. So your processor will go to the memory location 2000. From there it will get the data 33 and then processor will put this 33 in BL. Okay, that means now BL will get the contents 33. Okay, so in the instruction I have not given the data because I have put square bracket. Okay, the square bracket indicates that it is an address. Processor will go to that address. From there it will get the value 33 and when you use that and when you know the when you use this direct addressing mode, when you know the address only. Okay, and from this address processor fetches the data 33 and now your BL will become 33. Okay, let's say another example, like add 25 and 35. Okay, now let's say this 25 is present inside one register, this 35 is present inside another register and we have to perform addition of these two. How we will do this? First we have to initialize register with this 25 and 35. So let's say move BL comma 25, then move CL comma 35, and after that we have to add this BL with CL. Here you use immediate addressing mode. Okay, here we are using immediate addressing mode. Why? Because we knew the data. Okay, we knew the data. Now another example, write a program to add contents of location 2000 and 3000. Now you don't know the data, but you know the address. Okay, now we have to add contents of memory location. Contents of memory location, it means that this 2000 and 3000 is given as an address. So how we will write? Move BL comma 2000. We have to add the contents. Then move CL comma 3000H. Okay, now your data will come from this memory location 2000 and this memory location 3000, and now you can add BL comma CL. Okay, so sometimes you know the data, sometimes you know the address. So in programming there are numerous situations that can happen, and for every situation there is an addressing mode. Okay, one more example, let's say reverse engineering. Move 3000H comma BL. Okay, it means that move the contents of BL to the memory location 3000H. Here what we are doing? We are moving the contents from memory location to the BL. We are transferring the contents from memory location to the CL. Here we are doing reverse. Here we are transferring the contents from register to the memory location. Okay, so how we will write this? 3000H will get the contents of BL. Now what is happening? Who is getting what? 3000 means memory location. Okay, so this memory location 3000 will get the value of BL. Okay, in the above example, BL was getting the value from memory location. Okay, here BL is giving the value. Here BL is getting the value. Okay, so it is if we use these two instructions back to back, then what will happen? Let's say this is memory. In the memory there is a memory location 2000, there is a memory location 3000. Okay, at memory location 2045 data 45 is available. At memory location 3000 data 62 is available. Okay, what is our first instruction? Move BL comma 2000. Okay, it means that what data is stored at memory location 2000? 45. So your BL will become 45. Now what it says? CL will get the data from memory location 3000. What 3000 carries? 62. That means your CL will become 62. Okay, now add BL comma CL. Now BL plus CL. What we will get? 107. Okay, and stored the result inside BL. Now your BL is becoming 107. Initially your BL was 45. Okay, now let's look at this another example. Now what does it says? After completion of these three instruction, if we are performing this next instruction, then what will happen? Transfer the contents of BL to the memory location 3000. Now what is the contents of BL? 107. We have to transfer these contents to the memory location 3000. That means what it becomes? 107. Okay, you are getting my point? So this is the direct addressing mode, in which we know the address of memory location, not the data. Okay, so which instructions we have seen? Move BL comma 2000H. Okay, and move CL comma 3000H. These two are direct addressing mode. Then add CL comma DL. It means that register addressing mode. That means your data is present inside the register. Then add BL comma 55H. It means that immediate addressing mode. Your data is already given in an instruction. Then move 4000H comma DL is again direct addressing mode because square bracket is there. It means that address is given. So this is also direct addressing mode. So this is all about the addressing mode. In today's lecture we have discussed about three addressing mode, that is immediate addressing mode, register addressing mode and direct addressing mode. Now in the next lecture we will discuss about indirect addressing mode and base index addressing mode, register relative addressing mode, like this.